a $1,600,000 project. The state of New York was giving us $800,000. Rochester Community Baseball was giving us $800,000. The legislature approved the project, and the legislature approved accepting the 2 grants, and the legislature refused, because they did not get any votes from this side of the aisle, to approve the bonding. And you know what, Mr. President? The playing field at Frontier Field was replaced. The failure to adopt the bond resolution did not stop the project. Because when the new county budget came out, that new county budget put the 2 grants in the budget as revenue and budgeted the $1.6 million as an expenditure, and the playing field at Frontier Field miraculously, despite the hyperbole that freely flowed in this chamber the night we defeated that bond resolution, the playing field at Frontier Field was replaced. Now the question, when I have risen before, to say that it's bad practice to be authorizing debt when we don't need to authorize debt, and that hurts us in the evaluation of our credit rating, which again I remind this honorable body is the worst in the state of New York. The question has been raised, or the statement has been made, there's no evidence that the amount of authorized and unissued debt has anything to do with our credit rating or with the quality of our credit rating. And the question has been posed to me, and I could not answer it previously. The question, in effect, has been posed to me, prove it. Well, Mr. President, the National Association of Counties, which I'm sure most in this chamber would hold is an esteemed body working for the improvement of the administration of county government all across this county, has a website. And on that website, they have a whole section that is good management practices for counties. And, Mr. President, there's a specific section in there that's called debt management for counties. And they proceed to explain how borrowing works, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a section on bond ratings and how important bond ratings are. And then they go in to describe the factors that affect bond ratings. And I'll quote from a printout from their website, Mr. President. Debt factors. And I quote, the rating agencies evaluate debt per capita, debt as a percentage of the assessed value of property, debt service as a percentage of annual revenues, payout rate, use of short-term or variable rate debt, authorized but unissued debt, and the legal structure of the issue's security. End of quote. I would hope, Mr. President, that there would be some respect in this chamber for the National Association of Counties, We pay dues to the organization, so I assume we respect it. And according to the National Association of Counties, the amount of authorized but unissued debt is a factor in determining a county's credit rating. Nothing has changed in the last 5 weeks, Mr. President, except the good news that Mr. Staub brought us tonight. Nothing has changed. There's no reason to approve this bond resolution. The experience at Frontier Field proved that. And indeed now, we have the documentation that the amount of authorized but unissued debt is a factor in determining the credit ratings of county governments. Mr. President, this county has the worst credit rating of any county in the state of New York. That means that other things being equal, we pay higher interest rates than the other counties in the state of New York when we have to borrow money. At some point, Mr. President, we've got to begin caring about this. We've got to begin putting our financial house in order. We have got to begin breaking with the past. Breaking with the concept of, quote, doing what we've done over and over and over in the past, end of quote. That's what got us into this mess. There is no reason to approve this bond issue. It's the same thing if you needed a car and you were fortunate enough to have a wealthy aunt, and the aunt agreed to give you the money for the car, and she did so. And you went down to the dealership and took out a car loan. Everybody would say, that's ridiculous. Mr. President, the approval of this bond resolution would be ridiculous. It is absolutely unneeded and continues a historical practice, which is one of the things that has undermined our bond rating and our fiscal stability. And I urge my colleagues not to vote for this bond resolution. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Driscoll?
Thank you, Mr. President. I know that Mr. Haney believes that he's never wrong.
Thank you.
I had to point out to him that in this particular case, he's probably not as quite right as he would like to be. It was not Casey Stengel said deja vu over and over again. It was everybody knows that. So perhaps just not quite as right as you would like to have been, Mr. Haney. Perhaps you're not as right as you would like to be on some of the other things that you've said here tonight. And we're shouting in a lot of theatrics about the bond rating and the condition of the finances of Monroe County. Let me see now. I've been involved with county government from 1992. And I've been on this legislature for now 8 years, a little over. And for the whole 8 years that I have been here, we have balanced the budget and maintain the property